Hi everyone, it's Urmi and Sanjay from Jet Setting with Us.
Welcome to Svalbard, one of the most remote and extraordinary places on planet Earth. Situated halfway between Norway and the North Pole, this Arctic archipelago is home to polar bears, glaciers, and 24-hour daylight. If you've ever dreamed of visiting a place that few people ever get to see, you're in the right spot. In this special 3-episode series, we're going to show you exactly what an expedition cruise around Svalbard entails. We're going to talk about logistics, costs, what the expedition cruise experience is really like, and what it feels like to explore one of the wildest places on Earth.
Before we get started, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. You won't want to miss what's coming next. Now, let's dive into how you can plan your own unforgettable journey to Svalbard. So, why travel to Svalbard? It's not easy to get to, it's not cheap, and you're going to spend most of your time bundled up in multiple layers dodging the wind and snow. Well, if you're the type of traveler who craves raw nature, who loves solitude, and is looking for once-in-a-lifetime wildlife encounters, Svalbard is unlike anywhere else on this entire Earth.
This is one of the northernmost places on the planet. The landscapes are dramatic and untouched. You're not visiting a place with guided footpaths. You're stepping into true wilderness, where every day of your expedition is shaped by the weather, the ice, and the movement of animals. And that's what makes this type of trip so unique. Svalbard is unpredictable, and no two trips are ever the same. Whether you're here for wildlife, photography, or just trying to visit somewhere that few people ever will, an expedition to Svalbard is guaranteed to deliver an unforgettable experience.
You may be asking yourself, is it really worth the cost and effort to get here? We'll help you figure that out in this episode. Now, let's get into what it actually takes to reach this frozen frontier. Getting to Svalbard isn't like hopping on a weekend flight to Sequoia or the Amalfi Coast. It's remote, and that's part of the appeal. But with a little planning, it's absolutely doable.
The main entry point is Longyearbyen. Most travelers will connect to Oslo or Helsinki, depending on your cruise operator. From there, it's a roughly 3-hour flight north to reach Svalbard. The good news is, many expedition cruises include a charter flight as part of their package. If your cruise does offer this, it's oftentimes bundled into your total cost, and it saves you from having to book that final leg yourself. It'll also keep you safe from missing your cruise in the event of a weather delay.
So yes, it does take a bit of effort to get to Svalbard. But the minute you start the descent into Svalbard and you see the snow, the mountains, and the surrounding sky, you'll immediately start agreeing that it was totally worth the journey.
Let's talk about what a trip to Svalbard might actually cost, because it's not cheap and it's important to go in with realistic expectations. The biggest expense will be your expedition cruise, which typically ranges from $8,000 to $14,000 per person, depending on the operator, length of the trip, time of year, and your cabin type. Next, there's airfare. Your round-trip flights from your home country to Oslo or Helsinki will likely cost $600 to $2,000, depending on your departure point.
You'll also want to factor in gear and clothing. While some cruises offer complimentary gear rental, others don't. If you're purchasing your own cold weather clothing, which you will definitely need, expect to spend another $300 to $500. Definitely check with your booking agent to confirm what gear will be provided by your cruise operator.
There are also a few extras to keep in mind. First, pre- and post-trip hotels in Oslo or Helsinki may be $150 to $200 per night. Second, optional excursions on the cruise, like kayaking or photography workshops, typically an added fee of $500 to maybe $1,000. And finally, any add-ons on the trip, such as spa, drinks, or other onboard luxuries, which usually aren't included in the cost of your trip.
All told, a Svalbard expedition typically costs anywhere from $8,000 to $18,000 per person all in. That's a significant investment for sure, but for many travelers, it's a once-in-a-lifetime adventure that's worth every penny.
We've partnered with a high-quality travel company called AdventureSmith, which will help you determine costs and a budget which are best going to work for you. If you book using the link in our description, you'll receive access to personalized guidance. And we receive a small commission, which helps us keep creating great travel content at no extra cost to you.
Next up, how to choose the right Svalbard cruise for your style, comfort level, and goals. If you're thinking about booking a Svalbard expedition, the biggest decision you'll likely have to make is which expedition operator to go with.
But first, just a quick clarification. We're talking about expedition cruises, not luxury cruises. That means smaller ships, a focus on exploration, and a flexible itinerary that can change even throughout the day, depending on wildlife, weather conditions, and ice conditions. The goal isn't really to lounge in a spa or at the casino. The goal is really to get out into the Arctic wilderness as often as possible.
When choosing your cruise, here are a few key factors for you to consider. First, ship size. Smaller ships are typically 200 passengers or fewer and are ideal for Svalbard. They allow for more frequent shore landings and a more personal, immersive experience. Second, length of trip. Cruises typically range from 7 to 14 days. The longer your itinerary, the more of the archipelago you'll get to explore, and the better your chances of spotting wildlife like polar bears. Third, the excursion style. Make sure the trip also includes daily zodiac landings and wildlife viewing. Some also offer optional activities such as kayaking or photography workshops, which may come at an additional cost.
AdventureSmith specializes in small ship expedition cruising. They walked us through all the above factors and more to come up with the right operator and itinerary that matched our travel style and budget. They also took care of all the logistics, including pre-trip planning. In episode 3, we're going to talk a little bit more about our experience and what daily life was like while on the actual cruise. For now, we'll leave you with the following. If you're really into active exploration, such as close-up encounters with wildlife, or just rugged exploration in the Arctic wilderness, an expedition cruise is definitely the type of trip that you want to do.
Next, let's talk about what a typical day looks like on an expedition cruise to Svalbard, noting that no 2 days actually look the same from an adventure standpoint. Most days start very early, about 6 a.m., with a wake-up call from the expedition leader providing an update with the plan for the day.
On most days, you'll get 2 outings per day, once in the morning right after you wake up, and once again after lunch. Note that the schedule is subject to change at any time and for any reason, but especially if there's a polar bear sighting. That's a good thing since most people are there because they really want to see polar bears.
In between the excursions, you'll have time to relax, grab a snack, go through your photos, or be warm and socialize with the other passengers. The ships are comfortable, but not luxury focused. Like any other cruise ship, you'll have your cabin, dining rooms, and lounges, but the main goal really is to be out on the water, on shore, or on the deck spotting wildlife and taking in the beautiful surroundings.
So if you're looking for a casino and an open bar, this probably isn't the right trip for you. But if you want a front row seat to some of the most pristine and untouched nature on the entire planet, this is definitely the kind of trip you need to make happen.
In episode 3, we'll share more about our personal experience on board and what the day-to-day felt like. But for now, let's talk about how shore landings and zodiac excursions actually work.
For sure, the most exciting part and the real reason that you're going on this cruise is to step off the ship and go explore the Arctic up close and personal. These aren't sightseeing cruises where you just watch the landscape from a distance. On most days, again, weather, wildlife, and ice permitting, you'll go ashore twice, once in the morning and again in the afternoon. Each landing brings you to a new location. Glaciers, beaches, bird cliffs, or historic sites from past Arctic expeditions.
The landings are guided and carefully organized, yet the experience is different every single time. One day, you may be hiking across windswept tundra under a bright Arctic sky, and the next, you could be kayaking amongst a playful seal. Of course, everyone's goal is to spot a polar bear.
In episode 2, we're going to show you some of the types of things you might see on these excursions. We had zodiac excursions, hiking excursions, and kayak excursions. We're super excited to dive in and show you all of this awesome stuff in episode 2.
Next, let's talk about what you need to pack specifically for an Arctic expedition trip. Let's start with some good news. You likely will not need to go out and buy a whole bunch of brand new gear, as we found that most of what we needed was already in our closet at home.
Many operators provide a waterproof parka and insulated rubber boots for the duration of your trip. That's great news because they're not only 2 of the most important items, they're also 2 of the bulkiest items, so you don't have to save too much room in your suitcase for these. Beyond that, it's all about layers. You'll want a base layer to wick moisture, a middle layer that is insulating such as fleece or down, and definitely waterproof outer pants.
In addition to all the layers, you'll also want to pack gloves and a warm hat, wool or thermal socks, sunscreen, yes, even in the Arctic, polarized sunglasses, and of course, a good camera setup if you're hoping to capture wildlife or landscapes. We've left links to all of our recommended items in the description below.
So that's the foundation: how to get to Svalbard, what an expedition cruise really involves, and what to expect before you even step foot on such a trip. But this is just the beginning. In episode 2, we're going to take you into the Arctic wilderness with us. You'll see what it's like to spot polar bears in the wild, cruise past towering glaciers, and walk on remote Arctic islands with nothing but ice and sky in every direction.
Then, in episode 3, we'll give you a closer look at life aboard the ship, the daily rhythm, what it's like to live on polar time, and the small moments that made this journey unforgettable. We'll also share a few surprises, challenges, and things we wish we'd known going in.
If watching this video has gotten you a little curious, or maybe even a little serious, about booking your own expedition cruise to Svalbard, we've got you covered. As we mentioned earlier, we've partnered with AdventureSmith Travel, the same company we used to book our cruise to Svalbard. By using the link in the description below to book your trip, you'll get access to the same incredible team which helped us plan every single detail of our trip. There's no extra cost to you, and we receive a small commission, which helps us keep creating great travel content for our fans.
And if you haven't done so already, be sure to like this video, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next 2 episodes in this series.
Have any questions about Svalbard? Drop them in the comments below, and we'll share as much as we can.
Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in episode 2. Bye for now.